this measure 224 to 100.
I love that, dude. You know what? Maybe we should cut funding to the arts, honestly. Too many Democrats doing too many lame things. A won't they situation. Okay? It's a real will they, won't they situation. All right, I got to pee. While I do that, here's the moment where Democrats sing and defy Johnson on the House floor.
Adoption of House Resolution 189. The House has resolved that Representative Al Green be censured, that Representative Al Green forthwith present himself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure, and that Representative Al Green be censured with public reading of this resolution by the Speaker. The House had come to order. The House had come to order. What's that? Richard?
You want to let him keep doing this or totally fair?
The House had come to order. Clear the well, please. Clear the well. The House has to continue its business.
And if you want to declare a recess, you can do that too. And the next one.
Just say the House is in recess. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the House will stand in recess subject to the call of the chair.
Well, that is a pretty dramatic development there, Wolf. We had expected the House to actually go into have another vote in the aftermath of this one. So we'll see what the Speaker ultimately tries to do with this protest that is now breaking out on the House floor of some members of the House Democratic Caucus voting, singing "We Shall Overcome" in the aftermath of this. But this is clearly divided some elements of the Democratic Party. We have 10 Democrats voting with Republicans to ultimately approve this measure, 224 to 100.
I love that, dude. You know what? Maybe we should cut funding to the arts, honestly. Too many Democrats doing too many lame things, okay? I'm no longer an advocate for funding the arts programs. They are creating too many Democrats who love doing theater shit, okay? Give me the reins of power. I will exile Lin-Manuel Miranda. Do you understand? I will send him to a faraway island, not Puerto Rico, okay? A faraway island, further away than anyone's ever imagined before. They went from the Diddy-crats to the Drama-crats. Despite the Lin-Manuel Miranda nature of this, shouldn't we at least give them some credit for obstructing? No. I think they need to stop being lame. That's like, I think, I'm not Mr. Optics all the time, but god damn, dude, they are so lame.
In 98 was the vote to censure Al Green, which essentially is a public admonition. It's a way to say that the House disapproves of an action of a specific member. It really doesn't go beyond that. It used to be very rare that the House would take such an action, really only in the most egregious of offenses. But in recent years, it's becoming used much more commonly. In the aftermath of what Al Green did on the House floor, Republicans made clear that they wanted to punish Al Green for his extended outbursts and ultimate removal from the House floor during Donald Trump's address to Congress. But we'll see if the Speaker decides to do anything else to these Democrats who are now speaking out, or chanting, it seems, on the House floor, if they're ultimately removed, or if the Speaker decides to take any action on them as well. Guys.
Very interesting.
I'm going to take a closer look at those 10 Democrats who voted
I was just thinking that.
To censure their fellow Democrat, Al Green of Texas.
Yeah, because I would think Monty Raju, I think we just lost him, but I'd like to know historically, you were talking about it used to be extraordinarily rare, not so much in the last recent years, but how rare is it for a member of the person being censured's own party to vote with the other side like this?
I cannot begin to explain to you how much I despise Emma Dems when they want to save the country. Oh God. That is right. I mean, that's they're resisting. This is pretty good. 360 no scope montage.
You know, that has happened sometimes in recent history, but typically these things have gone down, at least in the last couple of years, have gone down most.
Yeah, it's not funny. White people only do this when they're frightened. It's not. You're not being funny. It's not funny nor cute. Okay.
Mostly along party lines.
This is the final thing that white people do, right? Moments before their fight or flight response kicks in.
Years have gone down mostly along party lines. Sometimes people may break ranks, especially ones in difficult districts. One person who did vote to censure Al Green right now is Marcy Kaptur. She's a veteran Ohio Democrat, someone who's actually in a swing district. So that tells you something there. Another one, Jared Moskowitz, a more moderate member of the House Democratic Caucus. He voted to censure Al Green. Another one, Jim Himes of Connecticut, perhaps not as progressive as some of the members who are actually engaging in some of that protest that was happening here. But the larger issue here, though, is the debate within the Democratic Party over how exactly to express themselves as the opposition to Donald Trump at this key moment. In that, during the speech, the Democratic leaders did not want their members to engage on things what Al Green was doing. They did not want people to hold up signs. That was the message that came from Hakeem Jeffries himself to his Democrats, and progressives in particular did not listen to that advice. They wanted to show that they were fighting for Donald Trump, and they wanted the public to know that as well. And clearly Al Green didn't take that advice also. We'll see what he ultimately says when he comes out of this censure vote. But before this vote, Pamela and Wolf, he said, I'm prepared to suffer the consequences of his actions. So he has really no regrets for what he did, and he said he would do it again.
Let's talk about this and more with Democratic Congressman Dan Goldman of New York. He sits on the House Homeland Security Committee. I know you voted not to censure him, Congressman. What went into your decision?
Well, first of all, the Republicans have rendered censure to be totally meaningless by using it at every opportunity. It also is just entirely separate and apart from what we should be doing. How is censuring Al Green helping to lower the cost of eggs? How is it reducing inflation? How is it increasing unemployment? How is it reducing housing costs? It's not. The Republicans are doing meaningless stuff on the floor, and it is ultimately hurting Americans. What we should be talking about is all the lies that Donald Trump told on Tuesday night. How he brought in a cancer survivor while he's cutting cancer research. How he brought in the wife of a slain officer while he is pardoning others who were convicted for assaulting officers. How he lied about Ukraine aid. How he lied about Social Security. How he lied about so many different things. That's what he's doing.
Not bad.
That he is gaslighting the American people. And what I wish we were talking about is not...
He read your tweet, Lamau. I mean, it did go viral.
How the Democrats oppose what Donald Trump did, but the terrible lies and policies that Donald Trump is pushing through, and the complete ineptitude and powerlessness that the House Republicans are showing.
This morning, House Republicans and 10 Democrats voted to censure one of your Democratic colleagues, Al Green, for disrupting Trump's address to Congress.
Another funny thing that JD Pondon did, of course, is obviously this one. Hold on. As you guys know, the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE, is doing a fire sale on all of these federal properties, the properties of the federal government owns. And it's a really stupid thing to do because this is like incredibly expensive real estate that they're just selling off willy-nilly. A very, very stupid thing to do. But in the process, it has gotten even dumber. JD Pondon and his team over at DOGE, in an effort to sell off federal properties, inadvertently exposes CIA black site in Northern Virginia. That's right. My goat, my king. They're doing the damn thing again. This is the type of stuff that makes me genuinely think that they have nothing going on in there. They're just like breaking stuff. They're shaking the trees to see what falls, you know? Some stuff are slipping through the cracks, obviously, in the process, and they just kind of bandage it later on. But it's very obvious that they're not competent. It's very obvious that they're not remotely interested in doing this kind of like deregulation in a way that makes sense, in a way that is still stable, relatively stable. Because deregulation is always going to cause instability down the line. Having said that, however, the way that Democrats and Republicans both have played this game is by hiring competent auditors to make these assessments, to work to reduce the federal workforce, things of that nature. Like, this is a long and convoluted process. Trump, on the other hand, is like, nah, I don't care. Just take it out. Kill it all. Who cares? And whenever there's any aspect of the chainsaw that actually fires back at us while we're ripping through the administrative state, we'll just rehire them. That's it.
You voted in favor of censuring your Democratic colleague. Why?
Well, many years.
Well, because I'm a piece of shit and a goddamn loser, okay, and a stupid coward. That's why I censured my own colleague on the Democratic Party, who demonstrated the courage to do anything, really. Some might even say the bare minimum. I think that even the bare minimum is unacceptable. And as a Democrat, I think that we should just be Republicans. We should love Republicans. We should hug Republicans. We should kiss Republicans. We should just suck them off. We should just be Republicans. Okay? There you go. That's the answer. That's the real answer.
Years ago, I voted in favor of censuring or disapproving of Joe Wilson because he shouted, "You lie." It was just a very brief interruption. It was profoundly disrespectful to then President.
I genuinely, oh my God. It makes it incredibly difficult for me to maintain this position that the suffering of these people is still bad overall when they come out and argue for their own demise so actively. Like, I get the anger and resentment that MAGA has towards Democratic Party politicians in general, and just politicians across the board, and the federal government across the board. When I see a person like this, who fires back at his own party for, at the very least, trying to do something, anything, okay, in an effort to draw people's attention to the Medicaid cuts that are incoming, and he just goes, nah, it's civility, and you need to, I'm a civility pervert. I'm a decorum pervert, okay? You have to maintain decorum. I think, yeah, I'm glad you're suffering. I hope you suffer. Like, it's impossible for me to think that this is a good person.
Obama. I'm sure that I could construct some convoluted way, and I would say, oh, well, President Trump is so much worse than Barack Obama and blah, blah, blah. You know what? I don't mind being one of 10 Democrats who said, no, there's a deeper principle at stake here, which is reverence for this institution. And when somebody disrupts the institution, particularly in a moment as important.
Like, dude, talk about not being able to read the room. The overall vibes from the broadest parts of the American population of voters is unironically to run a fucking mallet through this goddamn government. And this dipshit is still maintaining decorum. Like, he's still busy talking about civility. Dude, just say you're a Republican, or you're talking to this guy, right? Not me, I hope. Like, how can you, dude, Donald Trump is going to accidentally nuke Iowa, and these guys are going to be like, well, you know, the decorum, the institutions in the process, okay? That's it. That's it. They got nothing. You're a bitch. You're a bitch, Jim Himes. You got nothing. You have no motion. God damn, dude. Fuck decorum. Holy shit. It is crazy. Like what this is, you're nothing. You're lower than dirt, okay? If this is what you are advocating for right now, you are lower than dirt. This is directly a consequence of not standing for anything. That's why they so desperately cling on to bipartisanship and desperately cling on to norms, okay? Procedures, norms, decorum, because they have no ideological conviction. They have no interest in changing the trajectory of austerity that Donald Trump is implementing. They like it. A similar analog to the way liberals feel about Trump's actions in Gaza. They feel a sense of elation. They feel a sense of excitement that Trump gets to do cruelty to the leftists that they despise. Okay? They're like, oh, well, now we have the moral high ground because it's out of our hands. We're not doing it. And simultaneously, Trump is the one who's making them suffer. Hasan literally criticizing a Democrat for licking Trump's ass and absolute dumbfuck chatter tells. No, that chatter wasn't saying I was a Republican. He was talking to Jim Himes. This makes people feel super good because liberals just want to maintain the moral high ground. They don't actually care about policies. Okay? They don't actually care about policies. They don't actually care about the impact. They don't actually want to do right by their voters or any person, really. They just want to sit there and go, oh, Trump is so bad. But while they secretly love that Trump is doing this stuff, okay? Liberals, like Democrats specifically, Democratic politicians, are also on board with these sorts of austerity measures. There are obviously a select few, like Al Green, who have consistently stood up to defend Medicaid, okay? But there are still absolutely Democrats within the House of Representatives, within the caucuses, that 100% would love to sign off on the austerity, but because they got a D next to their name, sometimes they feel a little embarrassed to do so. And I do think that these guys, like the 10 people that were yelling at Al Green, they're on board. I also think that the Democratic Party's communication on these issues implies that they're also kind of on board. That's why Eliza Slotkin spoke very briefly, if at all, about the austerity and focused on, foreign policy, Trump's foreign policy stuff, while also simultaneously saying, we want to do bipartisan border bills with you. We want to do bipartisan border bills with you. You just won't let us do it. We want to do bipartisanship with you. You won't let us do it. Who is this for? Who is this for, I ask? Who's it for? Is there a base of support amongst liberals that's just like, no, we love bipartisanship with the Trump administration. We really want to find a way to manage the collapse of American empire in a way that makes sense. We want to privatize everything as well. I don't want Social Security, actually. Let's just turn it into a cryptocurrency or something. Fuck it.
And look, I have no love for Donald Trump, but I do have reverence for the office of the president. In the military, they salute the uniform. They don't salute the man or the woman in the uniform.
Oh, God. And then some silly ass bullshit about the military. Okay, great.
And just think about where this leads. If we defend that behavior at the next State of the Union, when there's a Democratic president in the Senate, people will start standing up and obstructing that speech until there can be no speech. So I feel very, very strongly that at some point we need to stand up and say, as horrified as we may be by Donald Trump or by Barack Obama or by Joe Biden, we act with decorum and with the civility that says to the world that we are a serious country. What you saw, by the way, as much on the more on the Republican side at the State of the Union address. And yes, Al Green was a country that is not being serious about governing itself. We have nuclear weapons. We're the most powerful economy in the world. We need to start telling the world that we are serious people. And we're telling them the exact opposite with the behavior that we saw in the speech.
Dude, what? We are not a serious country, and you are not a serious person. Oh my God.